Hey everybody, welcome to 25 Tales of Cellar Music and the Cellar Music Group in celebration of our 25th anniversary. I'm telling some tales of how some of these recordings came together, some recordings that didn't come out, some recordings that almost didn't come out, and then just some recordings that came out with no issues at all, but are just my favorite recordings. And we're going to go to a early record in our catalog called the Tilden Webb Trio, featuring special guest David Fathead Newman, Cellar Groove. It would be reissued a few years later under David's name, David Fathead Newman, and the Tilden Webb Trio, Cellar Groove. And it's a very, very special recording for me because Fathead became a very dear friend of mine and a very dear friend of the band's. He played out here once, and then we brought him back when we did the live recording at the Cellar. And the band would go on to continue to play with him in Vancouver, but also do some tour dates in the Pacific Northwest. And Fathead was such a beautiful guy, and he really, really loved Tilden Webb and his trio. And why not? They're a great band, a great trio, great musicians. So when we put this together, because David had a contractual obligation to another label, we could only have him as a special guest, meaning it had to be under Tilden's name, which was fine. Because David was the legendary figure, we wanted to defer to him in terms of material, but it was Tilden's record, so I think I encouraged Tilden to write some music for it, and we got it to Fathead, not realizing, this is much like the first video, not realizing that David Fathead Newman couldn't read music. And we didn't know that. So the tunes were sent. Fathead said everything was cool. We show up to the Cellar on the days, and Fathead kind of like, play the tunes for me, play it for me. He kind of could play through it. He's like, I'll get it. It'll be cool. But it's at this moment that we're realizing that David doesn't read music and that these tunes are going to be a bit of a struggle. They're great tunes, Roundabout and Lady J. So after the first night, it was a little bit rough. Everything else was great. They played a bunch of David's tunes. They played This I Dig of You and Night in Tunisia. But those two tunes in particular were a bit of a struggle. When it came to the solos, on Roundabout, for example, absolutely amazing. Fathead is burning. He sounds beautiful. Lady J, I don't believe he takes a solo, but his tone and the way he interprets the melody is incredible. But it took a minute to get there. So on the second night, we did it again. I think we played one of the tunes in the first set, and it did not go well. At least the head portion of the tune. And Tilden and I were becoming agitated with the whole thing, and we didn't want to include the tunes. But Fathead was being really cool. Then we got to the second set, and we played Lady J. They played Lady J, and it didn't go very well. So again, we were agitated and we didn't really know what to do, and we were a little bit discouraged. And the only two people that were stressed out in that situation was Tilden and myself as the producer. Fathead was totally cool. He said, it's no problem. What we'll do is we'll finish the gig, and then after we'll take a little break, we'll have a drink at the bar, and then when people leave, we'll go back up on stage and we'll piece it together. And we're like, this is never going to work. Like this, So that's what we did. The crowd left. We had a drink at the bar, and then we got back on stage. Some people stayed. And we played Roundabout. In the case of Roundabout, in some cases, we had to piece it together in 2-bar sections, and sometimes we'd get lucky and David would be able to get through like 4 bars or 6 bars or even 7 bars, and we would piece it together. And it worked. In the moment, I don't think we knew it was going to work, and it was very stressful for both Tilden and I, but we got through it. And again, David was totally cool. He doesn't read music, and he learns music by hearing it. So the more he heard it, the more he got it together. The only problem is we only had a couple of nights to get it, and then we had to use the after gig recording and editing thing to get it all together. As it turns out, both tunes made the record. I'm so glad they did. Roundabout is a favorite tune of mine. It's something that we play actually with Tilden on my every Wednesday gig at Frankie's here in Vancouver. And we also play Lady J, an absolutely gorgeous melody. So I don't think this record was ever in doubt of not coming out, but it wouldn't have been as good without those 2 tunes. And I have a lot of respect for Fathead Newman for kind of forcing us into just sticking with it and being cool, calm, and collected about it. And it turned out to be a great record. Tilden Webb Trio with David Fathead Newman, Cellar Groove. Check it out.